Greeting, traveler.
Change your mind.
You require my assistance? We're gonna be rich. Require my assistance? Who am I?
Let me change your mind.
Greeting, traveler.
Good evening, everybody. It's that time of the week again. Yes, it is Wednesday. Yes, you can start making your hump day jokes. And yes, you are that much closer to the weekend. But more importantly, it is that time of the week for the one and only Tavern Talk, the show where we like to make hot takes and bad takes alike, sometimes in the same sentence if we feel like it. I am, of course, one of your hosts, J.R. Juggerlaw, and tonight we have ourselves a fun little show for you guys tonight. After taking last week off, we are back and we are ready to discuss discuss the upcoming week of play. But of course, before we get to that, we got to talk about my co-host for tonight. Of course, the one and only master of OPs, the man who is not part turtle, but is definitely part turtle. I'm looking at... Damn it!
I'm not part turtle.
The man who is not part doctor, but he is definitely part fish. Say hello to Dr. Fish.
Hello, everybody. Hello, turtle.
I blame Turtle for that mess up, by the way.
Oh, nice.
And of course, you'll notice tonight we do not have the one and only Geranium Battle with us today. He unfortunately could not join us. But the good news is we did bring in an amazing replacement. He is a man who is pinged very often for a multitude of reasons, let's be honest. He's got several championships under his belt, and he's been a fantastic guest host for us over the last couple seasons. Say hello to Diamond.
Hello, yeah, it's great to come on. I feel like I often do fill in for Max when he's away, but that's okay. I hope he's all good.
You know, I think you found a good balance there. I think we've had you on like a couple times where it's like, you know, you're not somebody who's here like every other week, but people like remember you when you show up here.
I'm the guest star.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, this is part of why we keep you around. Part of it. I'm terrible, I know. But of course, yes. So first of all, to everybody, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022. And we are here to bring you a new year and more importantly, a new year of Team Hearth League content. And we are very excited for that. Last week, as you guys know, was basically a 2-week week, if you want to call it that. I don't know. But we had a bunch of matches take place over a 2-week period due to the holidays, and now we're coming back here with a lot more shakeup now that 2 weeks of matches have been played. And what's especially interesting about this week is we've got the cross-conference matches that are happening. And this is, I believe, this is applying to both Legacy, Hero, and Pro, I believe.
I don't know.
Or am I wrong?
Does Pro? I don't think Pro has cross.
Hero as well. It's Hero and...
It's just Legacy Hero. Okay. So, right. Legacy and Hero this week, we'll be talking about matches that are, of course, taking place between two teams of two different conferences. And what I'm very excited about is that this week, especially for Legacy, we saw a lot of exciting matches that are taking place due to the fact that they're cross-conference. And I'm extremely intrigued by what is going to happen. So we're not going to waste much time. There really isn't a whole lot else to bring up unless there's anything you guys want to mention. But I think we're good.
Ready to go.
All right. We'll talk about the first match the first match for Hero, of course. This is the match I picked out, and it is Golden Wisps versus Make a 5 seed out of a Molehole. I'm not gonna lie, when I was originally typing that out, I was about to write it out as Molehill. And no disrespect to Nine Eyebrows. I wanted to make sure I got the team name right. But I decided to pick this match because, of course, 2-2-0 teams, two teams that are looking very promising. You know, I think these are two of the higher ranked teams from the whatchamacallit, the preseason, the preseason rankings, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong about that.
We had 5. We had Mole's team the Mole team a little lower, but I
was gonna say you couldn't have had them that low considering.
They're the reigning champion.
We had them as a rare because I had some slight hesitations, but hey, new podcast coming out. We're covering Hero and Pro, so you'll get to see all of that.
Fish, I know the audience. Fish, I know the audience can't see my cam right now, but I want you to take a look at my cam right now to see how I'm reacting.
I can see you reacting. Yeah, I can see your reaction. Good. Yeah,
all right,
we
good.
have
just as long
versus this. We had this match.
Yep. So we've got of course, like I said, both these teams are 2-0. They both come into this with most of their players being undefeated. They're looking top notch. Of course, we got the Golden Wisps that are run by MPV, and then the Make a 5 seed out of a molehill, being run by the one and only Nine Eyebrows, who is honestly racking up Hero Series championships, like I don't know, like just like it's nobody's business at this point. And I'm especially excited because all the matchups here from top to bottom are looking pretty solid. Obviously, you can see on the screen here we've got one of those matches being played already, that being Nine Eyebrows versus Mick. And I won't lie, despite the fact that Nine Eyebrows is a very strong player, I am definitely surprised that he took the win over Mick, just because Mick in the 3 seed has proven to be one of the most insane things we've ever seen. But we, even with Make a 5 seed taking the early lead, we still got 4 matches that could definitely go either way. Aquaman versus Super Chicken, I'm definitely very curious about. Both of these guys are coming in 1-1, 1-1, and they are both obviously very highly regarded players, but also not the most. I would say not the most. I would say not the most regarded 1 seeds. They're not definitely. They're players who are really good, but you definitely don't see their names coming up when you talk about the best 1 seeds in THL. Then for the 2 seed match, it's always Lethal versus CMAC. I feel like this is a pretty even matchup overall. CMAC, of course, has been, he's kind of proven time and time again. His PR is very deceptive, because I feel like when people see him in pro, they're very threatened by him. And if you look at him based on his PR, you might not be so threatened, but I feel like it's very misleading. So I feel like this one is way closer than the PR difference might have you believe. The 4 seed is Skirt Reynolds versus MPV. Definitely leaning in favor of MPV for this one. But Skirt is really, he's been really making a lot of improvements over the last couple seasons. So this would be one hell of an upset if he could pull it off. And then the 5 seed, we've got ourselves Lupin versus You Kitten Me. Also a pretty even matchup, just based on PR and based on relative experience for both these guys. I think if I had to take a guess, this is hard, but just based upon the momentum that Make a 5 seed has right now, I am going to say that Super Chicken takes it in the 1, Always Lethal takes it in the 2, MPV takes it in the 3, and then You Kitten Me takes it in the 5. So I think did I get that? Or is that, do I have that?
Nope.
Yeah, I have that 3-2.
Yeah.
3-2 Make a 5 seed. Okay, just making sure I did my math right.
Mm-hmm.
What about you guys?
Go ahead, Fish, with your thoughts.
This is an interesting match. Obviously, the 2 highest scoring teams in Hero Series up to this point. Both teams on a tear. 9 getting a huge win in the 3. I mean, 9 is. I mean, 9 was severely under PR the last couple of seasons. He's finally getting towards a PR that I think fits him better in the 400s and probably even above that. He's such a good. He's just insanely strong. It's so interesting. We have a scenario where 9 can end up in the 2 next week if CMAC loses and doesn't. Where CMAC loses, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I would favor Make a 5 seed this week, just with an early 4-1 lead, but we've seen leads like that turn around pretty quickly. I think Skirt versus MPV is like the match I'd be most interested in. I'm a big fan of Skirt Reynolds. He and I have played many matches against each other, and even as a 268 PR 4 seed, he's still I say probably just as good as MPV. So he's just a very, very strong player.
I would agree. It's these are definitely just 2 very strong teams from top to bottom.
Yeah, I think I'm probably favoring almost in every seed. I think Make a 5 seed on the whole. You kidding me? I don't know if it's been told, is like a teammate of Skirt and 9 for Tespa.
Yeah.
So I think when first Skirt came in at 50 power, everyone's like, oh, it's just 9's Tespa teammate. And now I think everyone's seen how Skirt obviously has honestly destroyed the lower seeds, to be frank, with his with his PR.
I might have the most wins over him of everybody.
Yeah, and he's it's not even his PR. I'd say he could even be up there with where CMAC or 9 is. And then You Kidding Me is same type of person. So The fact that that bottom three is undefeated is not even surprising to me.
No.
But I mean, Golden Wisps, like those, is also just a very good team, and I'm not surprised to see either of these two like at the beginning starting to
Yeah.
stretch out ahead. But I would favor make a 5C out of Molehole just for this
Yeah.
initial matchup.
Gotcha.
I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, they're. I mean, Golden Wisps are definitely a team that I think is likely to give them a run for their money. But yeah, I mean, like we said, reigning champions looking very strong this season. And I think it's very awesome to see somebody like Skirt, who did start off here with a lot less PR than, a lot less PR than what he has now, and now finding himself with a good, solid 268 PR on the 4 seed, and seeing how much he's improved. I think these guys just got a lot of momentum, a lot of, I would say a lot of positives working in their favor. So, if Golden Wisps win, I wouldn't be the most shocked, but yeah, definitely leaning towards make a 5 seed here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Should we go on to the next one?
Yes.
I think we should.
Next.
I think we're going with
The Diamonds match.
Fish or Diamonds pick. Okay,
Yep.
Diamonds pick.
Whatever Fish says we're doing. All right, so we have Dad Legend versus Hordy on main. So we have Icicle versus Python, and
Did you intentionally pick Geranium's team's match?
I,
that just
to
an
be honest,
accident?
Fish handed me this
did.
one, and I was like, I'll honor Geranium.
I'm kidding, I know.
I actually did.
Okay, so then we have,
I meant to say Fish, but yes, I knew he had given you those matches.
so we have Starlax versus ABC, Corridor versus Dr. Bomb-D, Yellow Dart versus Jespine, and then Risen versus Bite-Sized AC. So if I was just going, I guess, through the matchups, I'd say at least I think the 1 seed's pretty close here. I could give it to either or, but I'll give it to Icicles. I don't know much about ABC, but I think maybe gonna give it to them if they've come into THL at this high of a PR. And the 2 seed, even though O2, I'm gonna favor Corridon because I've been playing with him on my legacy team, and I think he's really good, especially we've been co-oping and like really insightful. And the 4 seed also, sorry JR, you probably won't hear this, but I'm gonna favor Yellow Dart. And then the 5 seed, I'm gonna give Risen his first one as well. So the bottom 3 of Dead Legend I'm favoring, and then hopefully they get their first ones. And then I'm favoring also the 1 seed, but I think ABC will win for 4-1 Dead Legend overall. But it is interesting to see these two teams at the bottom now. We went from arguably like the top 2 teams right now to the bottom 2. So it's like who can get the most points and come up on top.
Exactly. I think it's interesting to cover 2 teams that are 0-2 purely because, it's still early on in the season, so there's still a lot of room for change. Like, we can't rule any of these teams out yet. And we've obviously seen plenty of seasons where a team starts off with a bit of a struggle in gaining momentum, and they still manage to pull it off. I mean, HSA's last championship was the epitome of that. So they started off 0-2 and then proceeded to wreck people through and through. So, and given what both these teams look like and who their captains are, yes, I did just praise Yellow Dart. Don't at me. I think that both of these teams have a really good shot of just bouncing right back and showing everybody that those first 2 losses may or may not have been flukes.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting match. I really want to see Dad Legend get their first win of the season. I'm a big fan of Icicles. I'm a big fan of Corridon. I've played against Yellow Dart before and Risen as well this season. I played Risen this season, I should say. The only player I really am kind of unfamiliar with is Starlax, and I've been here for a while. Like, I know who he is. I know he's a fantastic player. I think it's gonna be pretty close.
Yep.
I'm gonna favor Python in the one. He's one of my wild teammates. He's been helping the team out a lot with prep and doing his things. ABC versus Starlax. I'm kind of unfamiliar with ABC. I've heard good things from Bone Masher about ABC. So I want to say he'll win, but I do think I think the bottom 3 of Dad Legend can take it home this week. It'll be 3-2.
They've definitely got a really good shot. I'll be honest. I kind of want to be the jerk and keep my rivalry up with Yellow Dart and be like, they're going down, they're losing, they got no shot. But funny enough, I'm actually playing Dad Legend this week in Legacy, so I'm gonna be like, Dad Legend is gonna win their hero match, but they're gonna lose their Legacy match. That's just how it's gonna go.
Gotcha.
Just how it's gonna go. But I also think either way, this is gonna be a very fun match to watch unfold. And I will also say it's pretty entertaining that Dad Legend. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is the first time I can remember that every single player on this team is a dad. Because that hasn't always been the case, for the record.
I mean, yeah, this has been the same team for the last 2 seasons, so yeah.
Oh, it has? Okay, so ever since Corden became a dad,
yes,
they've been an actual Dad Legend team. Because I know he was the most recent one to become a father.
Yes.
I think this was brought up too on Hearth Center last night, like the same comment, JR. It was just fun to see.
Really?
The 2 shows, yeah.
Yeah.
That goes to show that a lot of people have been noticing that, and I'm not the only one.
Because I'm pretty sure that's not even the reason for it being called Dad Legend.
Oh no, it's not. It's not.
It's because of rank. It's because of the old rank 5.
Right, but it was started by Yellow Dart, who is a dad, and it was like that was kind of the idea behind it.
Yeah, it's cool.
And also some of the original players on the team are also parents, so it's like,
okay,
I think that was kind of what made them go for it. Because bear in mind also, Dad Legend used to be a heroes only team.
Yes.
And then they decided to move over to Legacy, like I think 3-4 seasons later.
Okay.
So like a lot, they've definitely evolved a lot over the last several years.
For sure.
Right. Anything else we want to add about this match, or shall we move on?
No, let's
move on.
Move on to
Right.
the last hero match. The match I picked is at Diamond. So my boy Diamond's team versus APM Yang is the APM team that's not in the purple conference. That's the blue conference, teal conference.
No, Fish. It's the APM team I'm not on.
Yeah, that's also the one that JR's not on. So we have a match score of 4-1 with Wild 9 taking a 3-1 over KSW. In the rest of the matches, we have Always Just in Time versus Genji. We have Turtle versus Jammies, Diamond versus Nomad Farmer, and Super Buckles versus Wyfair. So don't see any other results. I'm sure Diamond would tell me if there is another result.
No, there isn't. No,
yeah.
No one's playing.
All right,
I think, yeah.
So we have classes here for the Justin versus Genji match. And they're quite interesting. I'm so bad at looking at the classes and just be like, oh, this player just has an advantage because of this class or whatever.
But I think that's fine though, because if I'm being honest, one of the things I love about the current meta right now is that it feels like we're going to see a lot of diversity in the classes people bring. Because even if not every deck has a lot of options, I feel like you could easily justify practically every class.
Except Priest. Right?
Yeah.
Except for what?
Priest.
Well, here's the thing. I would agree with you on that, but I could definitely see people bringing Priest just because it is having some success on ladder.
Yeah. Well, the people who bring Priest is Heat Shock in Pro to hard counter someone.
And
that I could see.
Oh, hey! Don't forget about Wicked Good.
Oh, true.
Oh, yeah, and in Agent PWE in Legacy last week.
Okay, that's fair.
That didn't go very well.
But I do agree, and I think especially with LHS, it is hard to see the classes and what people can go, because we also just have many archetypes as well. Is the druid an aggro druid, or is it a flow druid?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think
having options is nice. It's always a nice thing to see, and it's also nice to just be able to, it's just to be able to be like, oh, I don't have to really bring the same stuff every week. You know, it's like, what do you feel like bringing this week? Well, it could be a number of things.
For sure.
It also doesn't necessarily feel like there is a quote must bring class right now.
No,
I know we're seeing a lot of people bring Rogue, but I personally don't think it's a must bring class. I really don't, because
I can
even with the flexibility it has, it's also a deck that, in theory at least, based upon what the initial stats are showing, it's not something that just wrecks people like it has in the past. I could be wrong about that, and we'll have to see what happens. But either way, it makes for some exciting variety within the current meta.
Yeah, so just kind of looking at these matchups, I'm happy to see Genji doing really well. I got to cast one of his matches in in draft series, and they played extremely well and got the win.
Yeah.
They're playing Justin, who's a seasoned hero player, always a tough opponent. A Turtle versus Jammies, that's pretty close. Wild 9 obviously getting the win. Diamond versus Nomad, I favor Diamond. I mean 287 PRs. You're pretty under PR'd in both series for how good of a player you are. And Super Buckles versus Yfair. I mean, on paper, Yfair should have an advantage on PR, but I just don't know enough about Super Buckles. Like, I don't want to give an auto win to Yfair in that case.
Right.
I know that he's someone that Turtle knows, as Turtle mentioned, being with him at a place. So
Yeah,
sure
Super
having
Buckles and Turtles yeah, Super Buckles is Turtle's friend. They
Gotcha.
brought in.
Yeah. I think it's tough to call. I think I'd like to favor Justin in the one, but obviously not surprised if it goes the other way. Turtle versus Jammies. I'll give it to Jammies. Diamond versus Nomad goes to Diamond, and Buckles versus Yfair. I think I would give it to Yfair, so that's a 3-2. Because I've never beaten Yfair in Hero. But that's besides the point. That's just I guess my logic is kind of whatever. Yeah, what do you guys all think about it?
You know, I feel like, I mean, I'm naturally going to cheer for APM Yang. They're my other, when you're part of APM, even if you're part of one team, you're part of the whole franchise. So I am naturally going to favor them. But at Diamond, I mean, they're twice the at Diamond they were last season. So that's pretty relevant. You can't overlook that detail. Genji versus Justin, I feel like, is going to be the hardest one to call because Justin, as incredible as he is, people might underestimate how good of a player Genji is, given how known he is in the community. And I think that Jammies versus Turtle is also one that I think is likely to be underestimated in terms of people thinking this might be an easy win for Turtle, but Jammies is not one to be underestimated. Diamond versus Nomad Farmer. I mean, well, I gotta give it to Diamond here. I do want to. I have a good excuse to cheer for him, so I will. But I think Yfair will have this over Super Buckles, and that's more a reflection of the fact that Super Buckles is the only player in this among these teams that I don't really know anything about. So, yeah, I'm gonna give the slight edge to APM Yang, but I'm not an idiot. I'm very much aware of at Diamond's tendency, or sorry, I'm very aware of Diamond's tendency to have some very strong teams at his disposal.
This is
Teams
true.
that win.
Yeah, I know.
Foolish
It's so interesting, like playing APM Yin and then playing APM Yang this next week, and it's like, damn, okay, this is how it goes. But yeah, I think I've always gonna favor Justin pretty much against anyone. Like he's still playing Hearthstone, and like the amount of stuff he puts in his channels and like the work he puts in, even if it is like slightly less than prior seasons, like still good. I think Turtle's enjoying the game, therefore I have to favor Turtle. And the classes he likes are also good right now,
Yeah.
so I'd favor him there. Wild 9 is like new to me. Like I've always seen him in THL, and like the first time we interacted, I told him like, "Oh, you can join." I forgot whose team it was. I think it was maybe Debs's like team he made in an hour. I'm like, "Oh, you should pick Wild 9 up. He seems like a cool guy."
Oh yeah, that team.
So yeah, it's really nice to team with him. He's been really helpful as well. I think I'll win because I've played a lot more Hearthstone this year than I've probably played the last 2 months. I'm almost at like
That's
100 games this month.
insane.
Yeah.
Like it's been good. And then I
Been
think
good.
Super Buckles will also win because we're gonna help prep him. Because the past 2 weeks he's like played odd Wednesday and Thursday, and with the holidays it's been like kind of hard to like teach
Oh
him
yeah,
like, what
give him
decks to
prep is
expect.
good. Yeah.
because he is like new to Hearthstone and like even more so like competitive stuff. So, but he's a good player and like definitely does make plays that you wouldn't expect with his PR and his newness. But it should be good. But so yeah, easy 5-0 for my team.
Nice. Confidence. And it's good to hear that Turtle's enjoying the game. And obviously, as your legacy teammate, I know the amount of games you've been putting in. So, really good to hear. All right, so why don't we go ahead and move out of Hero Series and into Pro Series? Oh, Bandit Keith, 91. Thank you so much for raiding with a party of 2. Welcome everybody.
How about that?
And also, hello Ogre. I'm looking forward to our match in Wild this week.
Oh, are you now?
Yes, I play Ogre in Wild.
Okay.
So, all right, moving into Pro, we've got
Yep.
JR's pick, Brushy Tuna versus EU
That we
greater
do.
than NA.
Yeah, that's gonna be a weird name to say, honestly. It's yep. Well, I've talked about Brushy Tuna before because they're like one of my favorite pro teams, honestly. And the fact that they brought on Ridiculous Hat just adds to the awesomeness factor. And then of course you've got EU greater than NA. It's we've talked about these guys before. They're a pretty interesting mix of players, including of course Always Lethal, who we talked about earlier. Even though for me it's an easy favoring of Brushy Tuna because they're just on a roll right now. Despite Based Ink being O2, I know she's going to bring it back soon, but this is just easily one of the most recognizably stacked teams that we've ever seen. Ron and Lotus and Hat are all incredible players, and then of course you've got the GM himself, McBannerface, who just competed in the World Championship just a few weeks ago. And of course, Based Ink, as I said, to round it out, versus Micah's Max VDP, Lethal, Brutu, and Y the Hunter. Now, EU's over NA. I can absolutely see these guys keeping it close this week because they are not a team to be slept on. But this is Brushy Tuna, and I really think this is going to be their season. I am saying it now. I think they got a really good shot at taking it all. And I'm going to say I think Ron, Lotus, and Hat at the very least take it. I could see this being a 5-0 personally, depending on how the cards go. But, I'm not putting any money on that bet, that's for sure. Because as we know at Hearthstone, anything can happen.
Diamond, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think these are some 2 very good teams. I think that it's really nice. I think last week there was subbed out, but Jack Weiss versus Pocket Train, and this week having McBannerface versus Bruto, who's like is on the Posca team in Legacy as well, and like is I think still undefeated. Like
Yeah.
definitely like one of the better players in Pro Series now. So that I hope that match gets streamed if they can, or if they're able to, that'd be awesome. But it is, I think, funny to see as well with EU greater than NA already all submitting because they're probably all asleep right now and they won't be up to submit when it's the deadline, or it might be the morning for them. Because I'm pretty sure everyone's EU besides Always Lethal. I'm not sure about Micah's.
I thought Always Lethal was also European.
I'm pretty sure Always on Donkey it says
It's
Japan,
hard to keep
so
track
I
of these things.
assumed he's in Japan because it said Japan, but it could be wrong.
Oh,
You
no
never know where
clue.
people are.
Yeah, I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
I would say Brushy Tuna's honor roll would probably favor them, and then I don't really want to call the Banter Bruta matchup.
No, I
I
don't.
think everyone else on Brushy Tuna's like doing well. They feel like the format, and they're
Mhm.
gonna keep winning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
If Banter versus Bruto gets streamed, everybody wins. That's just a great match to watch.
Mhm.
I think like, but like that is that to me that would be like the match of the entire week. Like that's just such a good matchup. Just like Jack Weiss versus McBanner. Like Jack Weiss's match last week with his opponent. I think that was J Rich.
No, it was Pocket Train.
Oh, it was
but he
Pocket
subbed out.
Train.
He subbed out anyways for flawless slays, but still
Oh,
good opponents, obviously, in Pro
Yeah,
Series.
for sure.
All right, whose match is next? If no one else has anything
No.
to add on this one.
I'm good. It's gonna be a super fun match to keep track of. It's actually the match that you picked.
Oh yes,
Your own pro match. Your
Gee,
team.
what a shock!
the boys.
The boys.
They're back. And what do we have? We have
A tied series.
We do have a tied series. So yeah, Dabs
Bum
unfortunately
bum
falling
bum.
to Lambie, but Super Chicken earlier today won his match and we had a fun call. And then we discovered that we don't actually have a voice channel in our in the Discord
Heck.
because I made a new section, so that was fun. But yeah, looking at these remaining matches, I would tend to favor the people on my team. I hope Shep doesn't bring what he brought last week. That's what I'll say about Shep. I think Jack Weiss is still learning, or I think his Jack Weiss will like pick up obviously, and like
Yeah.
the fact that he's sitting down there now in the 4 and 5 is like pretty scary.
Yeah.
I think Dardar is obviously gonna win as well. Like it's Dardar Binks.
Yeah.
But
Dardar.
regardless, I think now Super Chicken's moving up to the 1, which and he also commented that he's never won the first week of Pro, or the first week in series, and then now he's won 2 weeks in a row. So Chicken's over the moon. So
Wait, the chicken is over the moon. That doesn't sound right.
you know what they say.
Do I though?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know anymore.
But
Nothing, Diamond. Nothing makes sense to me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
is...
guess you guys will have like a more non-biased take, but yeah, I think we're winning the rest of this and skyrocketing up, keeping up our 18 points per week.
I
mean, go ahead, Fish.
I think Dardar versus Zabe is a pretty good match. I don't know how much Zabe has been playing and enjoying the game. Unfortunately, I almost said honestly, but I wanted to avoid the pun. Jack Weiss
Let's
versus
be honest, we've gone a long enough time not going with that pun, so I think we're allowed to now.
So Jack Weiss versus Myanodon. I would favor Jack Weiss. Just an extremely talented player. And I mean, I love Myanodon, but I think it's just a little bit in Jack Weiss's favor. And then Shep versus Beluga. Yeah, if Shep doesn't bring what he brought last week, I think he's got a good chance. Beluga's a good player. I know that if Max were here, he would be defending Mr. Beluga. But we're gonna potentially not see. There's a chance we don't see Shep in the 5 next week, which would be sad. But that's why Jack Weiss wins and Shep wins.
I mean, exactly. If everyone wins, I win. So Shep's still in the 5s. Like,
yeah,
it's just good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And even if Dardar loses, Shep would still be in the 5 as long as Jack Weiss wins. So
true.
Yeah, chicken we got 1 seed chicken, and we've got 5 seed Shep. Yeah, obviously,
the top or the bottom.
Obviously, a great.
I was gonna say, how did we get to this point, dude?
Yeah. But fantastic match. I have not much else to say about it.
Is there anything to add, or do you want to move to Fish's?
All I will say is I feel like even though Diamond made some very good points for why his team is going to win, for me it's like this is just this is a clash of titans that's just really hard to call, especially because even though there's only 3 matches left, it still feels like this is really anybody's game. So I feel like every single one of these matches is close, and I don't feel that confident picking somebody in either case. Like, don't get me wrong, Dardar versus Zabe, I could understand the argument that Dardar just wins, but Zabe has proven time and time again he's one of the most consistent and improved players in THL. And he is not one to be messed with, frankly.
No.
So I think just no matter what happens, it's going to be a hell of a match. And I'm glad at least to start things off that they're tied after 2 matches, because that feels very appropriate, if I'm being honest.
For sure. Yeah, I think that Dardar and Zabe is probably the closest match. Probably be my closest match left in the series. So why don't we move on to our final match of Pro, which is the match that I picked, which goes over to Black Conference. We have Avenging Prophet Murabi versus F2L. So both 2-0 teams out of the Black Conference. We've got Sabretooth versus Itachi. We have Reverb versus Berserk, Chewy versus Rebobson, ABC versus QSNS, and then down in the 5 seed, or down in the 5 spot, I should say, Marty B has taken a 3-1 win over Magnificent to start the weeks for F2L on a win. And I think this is an important week for both of these teams. Facing one of the each other as like I'd say two of the 3 strongest teams out of the conference. I think it's whoever wins this has a pretty good advantage going forward in the season, inserting potential seeding. Obviously, we still have a lot of weeks to go, but it really helps to get a high level win like this.
For the record, this absolutely would have been my pick if
I didn't take it.
If you didn't take it first.
Yeah.
But somebody had to pick this one because there was no way we weren't going to talk about this.
Yeah, I also like to give both conferences. I tend to like to give both conferences a match in every series as much as possible.
Yep.
So yeah, we have a lot of classes in this match now. The only match that's not showing classes is ABC versus QSNS, and there's some really good stuff here. I have to look at the actual lineups. Sabretooth versus Itachi. Itachi had to be E-subbed last week, and Nice Jewish Owl came in and swept that match. Reverb got a Reverb 2-0 versus Berserk. I can't just say Berserk's gonna win, because Berserk is an insane player, but Berserk really is an extremely good player. At one point was almost in Grandmasters. But Reverb's another very strong player, one of my wild teammates. Chewy versus Rebob, pretty close match. Rebobson actually getting to play a fellow European player, so they get to play at better hours for themselves than having to go up against someone from America.
You mean America?
Yeah, for sure. And then ABC versus QSNS. I don't know much about either player. I didn't pick ABC the first time. I'll pick ABC this time. So I think I'll pick Saber in the 1, Berserk in the 2. Rebobson's on a roll this season. I'll pick Rebob in the 3, ABC in the 4. So it'll land as a 3-2 for F2L, in my opinion.
Neji, you don't get to vote. You're biased.
Oh, 13 Diamond's picking a tie. We've had a tie picked in this before, and that didn't happen.
I was gonna say you don't. Ties never happen when you bet on them.
They just happen. Unless you're Zilfs. Then that happens 2 weeks in a row to start the legacy season.
Damn it, Neji! I can't stay mad at you.
No, I can't stay mad at Neji either. 5-0 F2L could actually be plausible, but it's unlikely.
No, I refuse to believe that, and not just because it's the APM Pro team. It's more so because it's just like I look at these matchups and I'm like, this is all very close, but I can't see all these matches going in F2L's favor. It's also partially because I see so much diversity in this meta right now that like anything can happen. So it's like I don't feel like it would be easy for any team to pick up a 5-0 right now, personally.
What they have, Croissant. The Control 120 Master. Surely he's gonna win.
Only time will tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other thoughts on the match before we go ahead and go to our commercial break?
No, I think it should be a good one though.
Yeah, this one's just exciting.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to add. It's kind of almost like I feel like we've just covered all the main points, and there's not much else to really be said.
Mm-hmm. All right. So flipping back to our main screen, as Geranium's not here, I will do my best to fill in for him with the.
I can also do it if you'd rather not, but completely up to you.
I could also do it, except I don't have the dock up.
I can.
You poor soul.
I'll I'll take the commercial break this time.
All right, you got it.
Feed run fish, come
Yep.
on.
Thank you so much for tuning into Tavern Talk. If you are enjoying our show, make sure you check out Around the Saloon and the Maniacal Tournament Series, which take place on Monday. We got our boy Ronnie to Tuesday on Hearth Center. And we've got perhaps you were looking for the Missing Fort series, and for that we have the Wild Wild West with Wildin' Out on Thursday early evenings. Are you still asking where's my content? Well, we stream THL matches every night from Thursday to Sunday, starting at 7, 8, or 9 Eastern, depending on caster and player availability. But wait, that's not all. We have incredible matches on weekend afternoons on Schoolstone. Days and times subject to availability of casters and players, obviously. Speaking of which, please consider subscribing to our Twitch channel. This subscription will enable the Team Hearth League team to help cover the various costs of operating our website and improve the quality of our streams and content to all viewers. And I am not sure if I see somebody asking for Twitch Prime in chat, but if you have your Prime Gaming sub through Amazon Prime, you can sub to the channel for free, and we appreciate your support. So don't forget to hit the heart button to follow. Keep the notifications on to make sure you catch our streams live. We appreciate each and every one of you. And special note to our viewers, check out our other social media points of interest. We have our website, teamhearthleague.com. Follow us on Twitter at THL_HS. And we have our Discord, Team Hearth League, and THL Pal Podcast, wherever podcasts are sold, where Geranium, Battle, myself, and Bone Masher are your hosts. And now back to the good stuff.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
And so
Honestly, the idea that you have to do it at the speed that Geranium normally does it at is insane. Like, that's just abnormal what he does. Love the man, but like, damn, man.
Yeah. I didn't have his... Bless you.
I was gonna say, did you hear that?
Yes.
Oh, damn, I thought I muted my mic.
Oh, you just barely missed the mute.
Son
But
of a
anyways,
gun.
we will be moving now into our final series. We have Legacy
Boom.
Legacy series, and JR has picked a banger of a match. I wanted to leave it up for someone to pick, so there you go.
Oh, excuse me. That is right. I decided to go with an exciting one for this week. I wanted to make sure, I saw the first match Fish picked was gold versus red, so I decided to cover a match involving a silver conference team, and even better, I decided to cover two of the most established and longest running teams in all of THL, Hearthstone Academy versus Pod People. Both these teams are just out there killing it. They're both 2-0 right now. Pod People have only dropped one match in the last 2 matches, and of course Hearthstone Academy have only dropped 2. So these guys are pretty much just on a complete roll at the moment. Hearthstone Academy, I'm not surprised that they're doing well, but this is definitely one of the biggest, one of the more interesting roster changes that we've seen, since everybody here is brand new to HSA, and it's completely different from the last roster that we saw them with a few seasons ago. And then meanwhile, we've got Pod People, which is mostly the same team. I think the only new addition is Dragon Rider.
Yes.
If I'm correct.
Yes, Dragon Rider in for Zeroshia.
Because even though these guys did take last season off, I do know that Starlax, Wicked Good, and Sway along with Hat, were all playing on Pod People in their last iteration.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely glad to see that they mostly returned. And Dragon Rider versus Zeroshio, I'm very confident Zeroshio approves of who they got to sub in for him. So definitely pretty cool. Honestly, the match I'm most excited for is Dragon Rider versus Ron.
Yes.
Because not only because it's 2 AFG players playing against each other,
yes,
but also that this is 2 of the most polite and enjoyable players to face in THL. And you both know no matter who wins, the end is just going to be like the 2 of them just having small talk and just enjoying each other's company in a way that we're just going to be like, yeah, Yeah, that's about as wholesome as it gets with these two. So I'm definitely very excited for that to play out. And as much as I would be happy to see either of these players win, Dragon Rider getting the upset here would be pretty sweet. I will say. And I'm not just saying that because she beat me week 1 and I'm a little salty about that. Just a touch, just a touch. But all these matches overall are looking pretty exciting. Hockey Boys versus R Hat. I'm not bet. I love hockey. He knows that, but I can't bet against R Hat. I'm not. I'm just not. I love the man too much. Big Ted versus Starlax. You know what? I gotta say, I would normally cheer for Starlax, but he hasn't, especially lately, been getting on my nerves with with how much he's enabling Yellow Dart's trolling of me. So I'm going for the Big Ted here. Sorry, Starlax.
Oh.
Love the man, but he has to learn. You don't cross me. You don't. Wicked Good versus Cherub. I actually think this is a more even matchup than the PRs would have you believe. But I am still going to favor Wicked Good here. And as much as I would love to root for Swaybe here, it's my boy Shu. He's insane in the 5. Gotta give it to him. So I do think it's gonna be. Let me see. Yeah, I guess it's probably gonna be like a 3-2 pot people here. I'd say probably R Hat wins. Yeah, that's probably how it's gonna work out. It's a close one for sure. I think I'm very excited to see how both these teams do for the rest of the season for sure. They're both in a really good place at the moment.
Got some very good teams here. Yeah, personally, I would have to agree. I think R Hat is doing very well, so I'd have to favor him. And honestly, I'm gonna favor Swaybait because I don't know the last time I've seen Chewbacca on Hearthstone / talking about wanting to play Hearthstone.
I didn't even think about that.
But I think the other 3 of Cherub's been on fire. I'm pretty sure he's had 2 sweeps so far, if I recall correctly. So he
I have not kept track, but yeah,
might
he's
get a
playing well.
3rd. And I think Ted is also somebody who it's just like in the THL season just gets into it, and I think he's gonna win as well. And Ron gonna take down the bot, his
Yeah.
boss AFG.
Yes.
I guess
Yes.
if is that the wording? But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think
She's the boss.
yeah. So I think Ron's gonna win there. So it goes
Nice.
to HSA, and then excited to play them as Clownstone Academy if that when that will
Yeah, I
happen.
want that.
But yeah, did you say yours as well, Fish? Or
No.
your thoughts? Alright, you can give your thoughts
Sure.
on the next one.
Hat versus Hockey is fantastic. I favor Hat. Dragon Rider versus Ron. I'm not sure I'm actually legal. I'm not sure I'm actually allowed to pick this one. No, I'm kidding. I mean, Dragon Rider puts in so much work. She puts in so much work. She's been grinding Hearthstone so much, and I want to see her succeed. I think she'll take a close win over Ron. Ted versus Starlax. I'm gonna pull for the big Ted here. Chara versus Wicked Good. I'm gonna pull for Chara. And Shu versus Sway. Well, I know that Shu might not be playing all that much, but he's still able to come in and win matches. So I'm gonna favor Shu. It's the so-called best 5. The so-called best 5 seed in Legacy. Let's see if he lives up to it this week. And gets another win.
Has a lot of all-stars for the 5 seed.
He does.
And he prides himself a lot on those. More than actual championships of some people. But yeah, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, we can. So our next match is the match that you picked. Dos Bias.
Yeah, this is I'm pretty sure, isn't this
It's the same type of crossover as the last one.
Yeah, but I'm like, didn't they play at all in playoffs or no? Last season I can't recall.
I don't remember.
But I know they were in playoffs, I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
So yeah, starting at the top. Wild Nine's been going crazy. Kid say he's going wild, and I think he's gonna win. Speaking of Venus Benoni in chat as well, someone who's up and coming in THL, I think he's also gonna win. Next up, a rare sighting for me. Donde's gonna win his match. That's right. I think he'll win. I think then for the bottom 2, I think Real Alert and Azuma are gonna win for Defias. So that's a 3-2. for Defias, the reigning champions.
Yeah, you really can't forget that they are the reigning champions right now.
Yeah.
It feels like it's easy to forget just because of how long they've been around. But no, they got a very solid victory last season, and they're definitely looking to continue that momentum.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a close week. I'm gonna say Wild 9 wins that 1 seed. Vino versus Classy Thug. Vino's on a roll right now, so I'm gonna give it to Vino. Donde versus
Yeah.
Nebcanuck. I was seeing Nebcanuck doing well. I'm gonna pick Nebcanuck over Donde this week. Chronic versus the versus the Reeler. Or the Reeler. So many different ways to say it. I'm gonna pick Chronic and Jimphilos versus Azuma. I think I'm gonna give it to Jimmy Clutch. And Jimphilos wins in the 5. So 3-2 for Zilfs.
And I am well, Coles versus Wild 9. So Coles is really good, but I think Wild 9 might have a bit of an edge on him just because of, we know Coles took last season off. Now, clearly, that hasn't slowed him down at all so far, but Wild 9 is definitely proving he is a man with a plan and all that jazz. So I'm going to give the slight edge to Wild 9. I'm definitely with you. My boy Vino is going to definitely take this win in the 2 seed, which is funny. I think he's going to be great in the 2 here, despite how much he wants to avoid taking over the 2 seed in Hero. He's funny. Donde versus Nebcanuck. I mean, it's close one, but I am going to say Donde takes that one here. And then my boy Chronic is going to I think he's going to take the 4 seed match over their lure. And you know what? I'm going to give this 4-1 to Zilfs. I'm going to say Jimphilos takes the 5. I don't normally go for the 4-1, but I'm feeling it here.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right, we have one last match to go over, and that is MUOH, Miami University of Ohio Hearthstone, versus Fish Dot. Matches, we have Nice Jewish Owl versus EZXRT or Izot. We've got Sam C's Ghost versus Jester. Havin M will have a sub this week. It's going to be Dragon Ninja versus Vampire Nighthawk. Trudeau 2 versus Steffi, and Mojo Powell versus 2 Fly.
We 2 fly, no lie.
So
you know this.
So MUOH went from getting swept to winning 4 out of 5 matches. This is kind of like Wallet Warrior-esque. Which is obviously their team name from last season. They have 1 new player in Trudeau 2. But they're bringing back their old teammate for this. So maybe we'll get another similar result. So looking down the line, Milo versus Izot's a really interesting match. I see the priest from our boy. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm sure he'll be all teched out and stuff. He is heat shocks people after all in that regard. I'm gonna give it to Izot in the 1 seed over Milo though. Sam versus Jester. I'm gonna give it to Sam. He's just been improving, and I think he'll win this week at Dragon Ninja versus Vampire Nighthawk. I'll give it to Vampire Nighthawk. Trudeau 2 versus Steffi. I'm going to give it to Trudeau 2. And I will say that Mojo wins over 2 Fly. Gotta hand 2 Fly a loss after. Get some revenge for me for week 1. Yeah, overall, I'm picking 3-2 for MUOH over Fish.
So I think Izzar is gonna also win. But I think this is really interesting because both I would say are very off meta
Yeah,
players.
they are.
Like Izzar in Masters Tours was one of the first people to bring like the all post lineups or like
Mhm.
running all the posts. And Owl historically has also brought more slower, like or off meta stuff. So that should be a really fun match to see. And I actually wouldn't mind if that one got streamed personally. Bit of an underrated match, I think. I think Samsey Ghost will also win versus Jester. Seems like Jester's coming back from a break, has been struggling a little bit. I've seen like Sam on Twitter has been like playing a lot and improving. And I know Dragon Ninja's coming to sub in for Tavern, so I'd actually favor him as the sub versus Vampire Nighthawk. Tridu versus Steffi, I will favor Tridu. If that's interesting that Tridu and his teammates with Vampire Nighthawk 2Fly now, he's against them. And then I would give 2Fly the win against Mojo Powell, because I think he's one of the better, or I guess he's 2-0, so he's like tied with best 5 seed right now, but I think he's really good.
Yeah.
Not many people talk about him.
Yeah, he handed me a whooping this season. So I mean I already knew he was good, but I was definitely coming with a lot of respect into that match.
God, I'm not even sure what to add at this point. Remind me again, this is Miami University's Hearthstone, right?
Oh,
Miami University of Ohio?
that's just the name of the team. They're not actually from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's what the acronym is standing
Yes.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Miami, but in Ohio.
I was gonna say because Milo doesn't go there, right?
No, he goes to
Milo goes to Temple.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I was gonna say. All these college-age Hearthstone players making me old.
Yeah.
Old, I say.
Yeah.
Remind me, Diamond, are you still in college?
Yes.
I am.
Oh my God,
He
you make me feel so
he
old.
goes to SFU.
See, it feels like it was so long ago that you won test that you came in second in Tespo with Eddie.
That was 2019. And now
Why does that feel like it was more than 2 years ago?
It's been about 2 years.
I mean, oh God, I need help. Anyway, I'm gonna say Milo takes in the 1. Sam sees Ghost takes it in the 2. Vampire Nighthawk takes it in the 3. I gotta root for my girl Steffi in the 4, and then Mojo in the 5. Mojo in the 5 is absolutely nuts. Honestly, he really doesn't belong in the 5. I think even he knows that.
I mean, I don't think either of those two down in the 5 actually are like 5C players.
No, really neither of them do. Yeah, it's just how the PR. But it's so weird.
Yeah, they have the same PR makeup, which is really interesting to see.
Well, I guess for Mojo, what I find the most interesting is that, like, he's had some interest, like, for reasons I don't understand, he's had some rough seasons that have led his PR to decline so much. But at the same time, I've played him in the 3 seed, where his PR was like at least 100 more than that. So it's still very weird to me to see that, it's gone down low enough where he's able to play in the 5. It just doesn't really make much sense because he is such a strong player.
Yeah.
Like, Mojo, come on, man.
It's a
Get it together.
PR construction too, because in most cases, like Mojo could also just be like 50 PR, like have a lower 5 seed and then just put the PR somewhere. But like with the way MUAH is like everyone except Owl is like Samsey Ghost and Tavern can swap, and even Mojo and Tridu could swap during the season as well.
Yeah. All right, any last thoughts on this before we wrap up?
Nope. I think that covers it. This is a very fun week. Obviously, the cross-conference matches are definitely making things exciting. And I feel like every single match that we have covered for one reason or another is definitely it kind of made it easy to pick this week's matches, if I'm being honest. Just because a lot of fun matches that for one reason or another stood out to me and made me go, we need to talk about this. So good choices by all. I guess we should get to the stream matches, though I think we only have one confirmed so far.
There are a bunch.
I think there are a bunch.
I just didn't write them on the sheet. So we're
Okay.
gonna go back to the main screen. I have the streaming schedule pulled up.
Oh, perfect.
Pulled up on
Just a
my,
reminder to all,
screen.
we do now have a THL stream, a THL match stream channel in the main Discord. If you're interested in having your match played on stream, you can go to the stream match request section and just make sure to mention, what series it is. A lot of you don't need to mention all details in there, but if you check we'll have a list of players. There's a pin message basically saying who you should talk to, depending on when you would like to play your match.
Yeah, I mean, look at that, and otherwise you can still message one of the other people, and we'll get you directed to the right spot. We have, at 8 p.m. after Wild and Out, we're gonna have Diamond, and Booze, which is Legacy match. So that's Hearthstone Academy versus Standard THL Degenerates. That's our only confirmed match for Thursday so far. We're working on a potential 9 o'clock match. And then for Friday night fights, it doesn't look like it's been. I've heard that they're completely full, but I don't have any matches in here. I think we have MPV versus Turtle, which they have written down at 10 p.m. For Legacy. I'm sure Saku will have an event up for that. Schoolstone, I believe there's gonna be one Schoolstone match this week. I have to quickly go and check. I'll have to go and check that.
There's a match. There's definitely a match that's supposed to happen. We're just making sure we have somebody who can OP for that.
It depends on the day and time for that. And then Sunday Showdown, it looks like we're gonna have Ron versus Dragon Rider at 8 p.m. So that match will actually be on stream. So for Thursday night, for casting, we're gonna have Owl, and I don't have a confirmed second caster, but if no one else is there, then it's gonna be me and Owl casting. And for Friday nights, you'll have Corridon and Saku, and maybe Donde, depending on if he is free. I don't believe we have anything set for Salty Saturday yet. Sunday Showdown will be Mayana, Dom, Bills, Saku, Selma, some combination of those wonderful human beings. So make sure you're on the lookout for events in the THL Discord, as well as content announcements to get all the up-to-date information on when things are going on. Obviously, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Wild and Out. That'll be myself, NHL, and JFan or Marty B, and we will have a guest. We'll have a guest on that show as well. One of our regular other Wild and Out people. So we'll be looking forward to that. That's all I got.
I think that's it. So, thank you all so much for watching. We really enjoyed talking about this week's matches. We're definitely going to have a lot more stuff to talk about as the season progresses. Just remember, of course, there will be more information regarding the matches that will be on stream this weekend, as well as for tomorrow's matches as well. But for now, you can enjoy Wild and Out tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by Thursday Night Throwdown, assuming we've got a match lined up for that.
Yep.
All right, perfect. But we hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Happy New Year once again. And remember to stay safe and take care of yourselves, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good one. And thank you for coming on, Diamond.
No problem.
Yes, and thank you, Diamond. That's right.
Make sure you do your Maestro stuff properly if you use the card.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
yes. We do not want game losses because of Maestro.
Yes, please. Please read the announcement for more info.
All right. We'll see you later, everybody.
Later, all.
Greeting, traveler.